Today at 1, police in Switzerland say several dozen people have died in a fire at a New Year's Eve party. It happened in the early hours in a packed bar in the Crans-Montana resort.
At first I thought it was just fireworks for New Year's Eve, but then I saw a lot of people screaming. There was panic.
It was like in the movies. There was smoke everywhere.
Also on the programme, millions of consumers will see energy bills rise as the cap on prices changes today. Chelsea's head coach Enzo Maresca leaves the club after 18 months in charge. And celebrations across the UK to welcome in the new year. Hello, good afternoon. Police in Switzerland say several dozen people are thought to have been killed in a fire at a bar in the ski resort of Crans-Montana. Around 100 people are also injured, with several nationalities involved. The fire started at around 1:30 in the morning, when the venue was packed with people celebrating the new year. The Crans-Montana resort is a couple of hours from the Swiss capital. The cause of the fire remains unknown at the moment, but authorities have ruled out an attack. Well, my colleague Silvia Costello is there for us. And Silvia, a devastating story. Bring us up to date.
Absolutely. I'm here at the police cordon. The bar where this tragedy happened is just to the left there behind me. You'll see that huge kind of walled off area where two eyewitnesses have told me that people were lined up, people bleeding, people with no clothes on, burned people, burned victims. And we know, as my colleague Lee Milner reports, that the death toll has gone up dramatically.
A night of celebration turned into devastation. It was inside this bar in the popular ski resort of Crans-Montana where a fire broke out just after 1:30 in the morning, local time. Police say several dozen are thought to be dead, with at least 100 people injured, many with severe burns. It's understood the victims are of several different nationalities.
At first I thought it was just fireworks for New Year's Eve, but then I saw a lot of people screaming. There was panic.
It was like in the movies. There was smoke everywhere. There was smoke in the lift. With the help of the concierge, I crossed the balcony and got out.
10 helicopters, 40 ambulances and 150 responders were sent to the scene. Police say the emergency operation will continue for the next few days.
In this difficulty, Switzerland is demonstrating solidarity. We also note that a psychological support centre has been opened for families in the hospital and is being put in place in the different sites, the different hospital sites in our canton.
Crans-Montana is an upmarket ski resort that's home to 87 miles of ski trails. Situated in the Swiss region of Valais, it's popular with British tourists. Valais Hospital's intensive care unit is now full, with patients being sent elsewhere for specialist burns treatment. It's not yet clear what caused the fire, but police have ruled out an attack. Lee Milner, BBC News.
Let's go back to my colleague Silvia Costello, who is there. Silvia, you know this town very well. You've been speaking to people there. How are they coping?
So there's an atmosphere of absolute disbelief. I keep seeing people right now are looking at me and they're looking at the cordon and they're looking at the police and they're saying what's gone wrong. On New Year's Day, this is a town where people come to celebrate. They come to see the immense fireworks that happen throughout the whole valley. You get a view of the whole valley and see these kind of thousands of fireworks that burst. It's sort of New Year's Eve. But police have been giving updates, and I've been speaking to two eyewitnesses, and one of them who was inside at the time, and the scenes that he witnessed were absolutely horrific. He had to hide under a table. It was so smoky. He managed eventually to run upstairs to get outside. He had to break the window, and he only got out by breaking the window. And these are the kinds of stories that we're hearing now. One man who lives just in one of these buildings behind me said that everyone knows someone here in Crans and everyone knows people, someone's niece, someone's friend, very young people who go to La Constellation, who have had injuries, tragedies, and it's just a really, really sad day for the resort.
Devastating. Sylvia Costello in Crans-Montana, thank you so much. The government says it will robustly defend the decision to strip Shamima Begum of her British citizenship after the European Court of Human Rights questioned it. The court has asked if ministers considered whether Ms Begum, who left home in London aged 15 to join the Islamic State group, was a victim of trafficking. She was stripped of her citizenship in 2019 on the grounds that she posed a threat to national security. She remains in a camp in Syria. Officials in Nigeria say the former heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua has been discharged from hospital in Lagos. He was injured in a car crash on Monday in which two of his friends, who were also members of his training team, were killed. Officials described Joshua as full of emotion but clinically fit to recuperate at home. A man whose wife and two children died in a Boxing Day fire has paid tribute to his wonderful family. Fionnuala chairman, 7-year-old Eve and 4-year-old Honor were killed in the fire at their home in Stroud in Gloucestershire. Police say that Tom Shearman, a serving police officer, escaped the fire and tried several times to save his family. Well, my colleague Helena Wilkinson has more on this devastating story.
Yeah, absolutely tragic story that happened in the early hours of Boxing Day. Tom Shearman, as you mentioned, a police officer and his wife, they were woken by the fire in the early hours of Boxing Day. He smashed his way out through the bathroom window to try to reach the children. He wasn't able to. He made a number of other attempts as well. Because of the ferocity of the fire, he couldn't do it. He couldn't reach them. Today, he has paid tribute to his family. In a statement, he has said, "I cannot begin to describe the anguish and trauma of the events of Boxing Day. My family had its very core, its very essence, ripped from it in the most violent way. My life, the lives of my loved ones, my friends, and the whole community changed on Boxing Day. Most importantly and tragically, 3 of the greatest humans to ever grace our presence were taken from not just me, but all of us." That statement from Tom Shearman, who lost his 2 children and his wife in that fire at their home on Boxing Day, and police have said the fire is not believed to be suspicious.
Devastating. Helena, thank you as always, Helena Wilkinson. Health visitors will soon be offering vaccines to some children during routine home appointments. The pilot scheme in England will start later this month and will target families who are not registered with a GP surgery. The Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, says the change will help those families who needed the most support. In the last hour, Chelsea's head coach, Enzo Maresca, has left the club after 18 months in charge. Chelsea said the club and Maresca had parted company with the team, currently standing 5th in the Premier League. Well, our Chelsea reporter, Nizar Kinsella, joins us now. So, Nizar, what do we know?
Hi, Kasia. Let's start with the statement that Chelsea have just released. It's a bit of a surprise on New Year's Day, but they say they've parted company with the manager. They go on to praise his achievements. They say that he won the Club World Cup, Conference League and Champions League qualification last season, and that was in Maresca's first year. They say that they want to still achieve a lot this season. They've got key objectives to play for. They're still in 4 competitions, and they mentioned Champions League qualification, which is Chelsea's ultimate goal really this season. That's the one thing they really want to achieve. They also say they've got a better chance of getting back on track without Maresca, remarkably, in the statement, but they also wish Enzo Maresca well for the future. So we know that in the last month it's been 1 win in the last 7 league games for Chelsea. That's not been good enough, or not been seen as good enough behind the scenes. But also they're 5th in the league table, so they still have a good chance of qualifying for that Champions League place. So it points towards the real issue being off-field, between the manager, between the hierarchy and the ownership and all that kind of stuff. So really, results are part of it, but I think the bigger part of it is a lot of the unsaid stuff around the relationship between the manager and those who are in charge of him.
Our Chelsea reporter, Nizar Kinsella, thank you. In his New Year message, the Prime Minister has promised the government will defeat the decline and division offered by others, insisting that people will feel positive change in their lives in 2026. Sir Keir Starmer said things had been tough in Britain for a while, but that the public should start to see improvements. Well, my colleague Damien Grammaticus joins us. Damien, just talk us through his message.
Well, the first part of it really is trying to, I think, send a message that he understands and sympathises with the way many, many people feel in the country. So he says he shares the frustration people have about the pace of change, the slow pace of change. But he says that he thinks that choices the government has made will start to deliver, and that's an important word for the government. You'll hear that a lot and have heard that a lot in the past, delivery, and they say this is the year it'll happen. So things like energy bills, money coming off energy bills this year, £150, frozen rail fares, prescription charges, fuel duty for part of this year, as well as things like a boost to minimum wage. Now, the Prime Minister says that it's about sticking the course. The important thing there, I think, is that many feel that this year is pretty critical for him and his own political fortunes. The Labour Party in the polls at the minute, perhaps 18, under 20%. Many Labour MPs are very worried and there's been talk about a possible challenge to Keir Starmer. Now, the Conservatives, similar position, similar message from their leader, Kemi Badenoch. She said that last year was difficult for many, no growth, higher taxes, many finding it hard to imagine life getting better. But she says the Conservatives are working on a plan to boost the economy, to be able to fund things like the NHS and the armed forces. The key moment this year may be local elections in England, elections in Wales and Scotland in May. The Liberal Democrats did very well last time. They're saying that this time they think they can do even better, and that they're vowing to stop Trump's America becoming Farage's Britain. They're focusing their attacks on Nigel Farage, because, of course, he is leading the polls, his party, at the minute, and he says those elections could be the most important in the next few years in the UK, and his party is offering hope.
Damien, thank you so much. Damien Grammaticus, thank you. Well, Damien mentioned energy bills. Around 27 million households in England, Wales and Scotland will see energy bills rising as the latest change to the price cap comes into effect. The 0.2% increase amounts to around £3 a year and coincides with plummeting temperatures and wintry weather warnings coming into force overnight across the UK. But the government is offering help to some with energy costs. Coletta Smith has more.
This is it, I can feel it. Here's the wind, it isn't all. Yay! Winner!
There's been a lot of confusing noise about energy bills over the last few months. From today, anyone on a standard variable tariff will have to pay a little more for gas and electricity. And that's something 87-year-old Evelyn just has to swallow.
No use worrying about it, is it? We want the heating on, we have to have the heating on.
She's here at this community lunch with her husband, son James and daughter-in-law Christine. Last month they all got that winter fuel payment for pensioners back again.
It does help. Obviously we've got it for the cold months because we put more, especially gas, put more gas in it this time of year. We've got the central heating on more.
There is also a £150 warm home discount for more people this year, including those on universal credit and pension credit. Paul in Bournemouth wants to know, how do I apply for the warm home discount, and is it possible to register for this permanently?
You don't need to apply and you should qualify automatically. You'll receive a letter by the end of January if you're eligible, and the money should come off your bill by the end of March.
1717.
I can't move a lot, so I can't generate my own heat.
Like many, Bev's already had her discount.
So at the moment we're having like 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night, because that's pretty much what we can afford. We did get given a £150 warm home discount, but really in the realms of everything, with the increases, it just doesn't cover it.
So there is more help available this winter, and now a promise of another £150 off energy bills for everyone from April. As some levies and charges are shifted off bills. The government's asked suppliers to make sure that savings are passed on to all, even the third of households who are on a fixed deal.
Most large companies have announced that customers who are already on a fixed tariff will see that cost drop to fully reflect the changes in the government policy on the 1st of April. So if you're on a fixed tariff, you'll see your costs fall by typically maybe about £11 a month from the price you're fixed at now for the rest of the period of that fixed tariff.
But there's still a long winter ahead.
But we can't afford to turn the gas and electric on. There's only 2 of us live in the house. And it's just too expensive. I just stay in my bed all the time.
A price cut later in the year doesn't make today's increase any easier to manage. Coletta Smith, BBC News in Warrington.
New Year's celebrations began with a bang across the UK and around the world, with huge crowds gathering to celebrate under clear skies and spectacular firework displays. Around 100,000 people gathered along the Thames in London, while Edinburgh saw the return of outdoor Hogmanay celebrations, which had to be cancelled last year because of bad weather. Greg Mackenzie reports.
Tens of thousands gathered along the River Thames to welcome 2026. With a fireworks spectacular over the London Eye. Set to a soundtrack which included the likes of Ray, Sabrina Carpenter, Ed Sheeran and Coldplay.
We watched the display and it was insane, it was incredible.
The music, the lights are amazing.
And in Edinburgh, traditional Hogmanay celebrations were marked with music and events running into the early hours.
I'm coming from India, so I came along for this party. I'm gonna enjoy. I'm from Sweden and he's from Spain. But we live in Spain currently, and yeah, we've been here since Friday, and it's actually really lovely.
I'm from Liverpool, and I'm enjoying it really well.
The celebrations are incredibly great. It's our first time here at the Hogmanay, and we're from Gibraltar.
Billions of people around the world have been welcoming the new year. Major landmarks across Asia were illuminated. In Berlin, large crowds gathered at the Brandenburg Gate last night, while in Paris, celebrations centred on the Champs-Élysées, where revellers marked the start of the new year. In New York, crowds gathered to watch the annual ball drop in Times Square and kick off celebrations for the United States' upcoming 250th birthday. And as dawn breaks on the first day of 2026, for many around the world, today begins with cautious optimism and hope for what the year ahead may bring. Greg Mackenzie, BBC News.
And hundreds of swimmers have been celebrating the new year with a freezing cold plunge into the Firth of Forth. The annual Looney Duke, named after the Scots word meaning to dip or plunge, took place in South Queensferry. Or rather than I. Now let's find out what the weather is doing, because it is getting colder. Ben Rich is here.
It certainly is, Kasia. The arrival of the new year has ushered in some properly cold, wintry weather. This was how it looked a short time ago for one of our weather watchers in the Highlands. Already some snow showers being blown in on these really strong northerly winds. Some very cold air sinking its way southwards across the UK. So gales up towards the northeast of Scotland, especially around the coast this afternoon. Frequent snow showers, especially up over high ground. These showers pushing down across Wales into the southwest of England. Mostly rain at low levels for the time being. A little bit wintry over the hills, and temperatures of 3 to 9 degrees, but temperatures dropping quickly overnight tonight. More of those snow showers into the north of Scotland, and also this little weather feature here running across Northern Ireland into Wales, the Midlands, southern England. Again, for a time, that might bring some rain and some sleet, but some snow over high ground, and those snow levels, I think, tending to drop through the night, giving some very icy conditions, and also, I think, quite a lot of ice in the north of Scotland, where those snow showers will continue on through the day tomorrow. The snow really accumulating in places. A mix of rain, sleet and snow in these showers for Northern Ireland, Wales and the southwest of England, and some wintry showers developing along the east coast of England, where, again, it will be windy. And top temperatures 2 degrees in Aberdeen, 7 degrees in Plymouth. But as the snow showers continue in the north of Scotland, this is where we have a Met Office amber warning that takes us through tomorrow afternoon and into Saturday. Some places over high ground in this area could see 20, 30, maybe 40 centimetres of snow. So that could cause some real travel headaches. You can see the snow showers continuing to pack in as we head into the weekend. Some down the east coast of England and a few out towards the west as well. But between all those wintry showers, some spells of sunshine, but it does remain really cold. Kasia.
Oh, wrap up warm, Ben. Thank you so much. That is it. The news does continue here on BBC One, as now it's time for the news where you are. From me and the team, Happy New Year. Bye-bye.